All right, man, peace. So now as I'm going through my DVR, I see a very interesting segment that the CBS Morning News did on the topic of falling in love. Now, I've spoken on that topic before, and they had an author who happens to be a female on their show, and she's going to go into her philosophy on how to make someone fall in love. And I thought that the topic was interesting enough for me to make a video about it. I'm going to let them interview her, and of course I'm going to chime in here and there.
Well, writer Mandy Len Catron's landmark article for the New York Times series Modern Love is one of the newspaper's most read essays. The article, To Fall in Love with Anyone, Do This, is about her recreation of an intimacy experience.
Now, this woman she's clearly very intelligent, because she understands that there's a huge market of lonely women. All right. You can see that her book, or her essay, pardon me, is marketed towards women. The drawing is of a female looking into an eye. That seems to be some type of allusion to penetrating the man's subconscious. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. I've stated in the past, all the phenomenon of falling in love is an attempt by the woman to control the man through emotional susceptibility or emotional fragility. A lot of females think that they want a man to be madly in love with them until it happens, because those usually end up being the guys that, unfortunately for them, take the relationship, the emotional dynamics of the relationship too far. They end up possibly being involved in domestic violence situations or even death. It can get that serious over emotional manipulation tactics like this right here. It says to fall in love with anyone, do this. Well, first off, why would you want to fall in love with anyone? Wouldn't you, even if you believed in that philosophy of falling in love, wouldn't you want a certain type of person to fall in love with you? But anyway, let's see what she had to say.
Experience with an acquaintance. She asked him 36 personal questions like, when did you last cry in front of another person? Then she stared into his eyes for 4 minutes.
So now this person's tactic is to ask someone 36 questions, 36 personal questions. Let me tell you something. For a man to sit there and tolerate 36 straight personal questions from a female, he has to be pretty hard up. And then to have that woman stare into his eyes for 4 minutes, I'm assuming this is after the 36 questions are over. To me, that's a sign of somebody who is mentally unstable. I don't know about you brothers, but if a bitch asks me 36 questions, I'm heading to the bathroom. I might leave her with the check, and I'm taking my ass home. All right. I mean, this is supposed to be a date, not a job interview. But you know what? That's the thing. A lot of these females look at men as being their subordinates. They want to try to interview you to find out if you're quote unquote good enough to have the job. But we'll touch on a lot of these other topics as we go along. Let's see what she has to say.
The essay was widely shared, and that acquaintance actually became her boyfriend. Mandy Len Catron has published her first book. It's filled with personal essays. How to Fall in Love with Anyone takes a candid look at her own life. She explores the psychology of relationships and the myths we all create about romance, and she argues that love stories limit our idea of what's possible in love. The book is published by Simon & Schuster, which is a division of CBS.
Yeah, that's why she's on the show. All right, Simon & Schuster is a division of CBS, so you're here to promote your asset. This woman looks crazy, deranged, and bugged out of her mind. You know what she looked like? She looked like that girl that used to be on that show back in the 90s, Blossom. Remember that show, Blossom, with the little strange-looking white girl? They used to walk around with the big nose, and had the older brother, I think, played by Joey Lawrence. That's what this woman looked like. And she need to look, nothing against this woman, but damn. I could see why she had to use hypnosis techniques to get her man. Because, whew, she got a face for radio. The broad's front tooth looked like one of those Halloween candies, that has the yellow top and the white and the white bottom. Remember when you go around for Halloween and they give you them like one of them jelly beans with the yellow top and the white bottom on it. That's what this woman's front tooth looked like. Oh man, this shit is crazy.
And Mandy Lynn Catron joins us at the table. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning to you, you brave woman, because you laid it all out there, your personal life story.
Brave or deranged, one of the two, or both.
I know.
We'll find out at the end of this interview if you guys are still together with
Keep
the person
the
that you
suspense.
yes.
Okay.
Keep the
Yeah.
suspense.
Sounds good.
But I love that you open about talking about your parents' own divorce, who told you and your sister when you were 26 years old that we're getting a divorce. And that sort of shaped you a little bit because it showed you that there are no guarantees in love.
Yeah, I mean, I think for most of my life, I just thought if you're a good person and you don't do anything to betray your spouse in any way, that's really all you need to do to have a long, stable marriage.
Well, in a stable society with a strong culture, that's all you have to do. But in a society like this, which is governed by people's emotional feelings at the moment, a society like this that's governed by whimsicality, and it really goes according to the dictates of the female mind, that being a so-called good person or being consistent, that's not good enough. This society goes according to the vibration of Thelema. All right, for those of you who don't know what Thelema is basically the philosophical slogan for Aleister Crowley. All right, Aleister Crowley, I'll probably do a video on him another time, but he's probably the top warlock of the 20th century, the most influential warlock of the 20th century. All right, he's written a few books. He's written one called 777. He wrote one called Thelema, which basically means do as thou wilt. He was a practitioner of various occult belief systems. Things like Hermetic philosophy and Jainism and, various things that he combined together. I believe that his organization was called Ordo Templis Orientis. But he was a former student of Madame Blavatsky. But like I said, that's a whole other topic for another day. Point being is that this society goes according to his credo, do as thou wilt. A lot of brothers mention how Jay-Z wore one of his t-shirts. Yes, Jay-Z is an adherent to Aleister Crowley, known as the Great Beast. And things like feminism and the homosexual movement, things of that nature, they have a spiritual alignment to his belief system, as he was a pansexual. All right? He called himself the Great Beast. Point being is this, when you just go by your vain feelings at the moment, that leads to mental instability, or really that's an offshoot of mental instability, and it leads to even more mental instability, both in yourself and those that you affect. All right? There's a reason why in strong cultures you see the people are married for 60, 70 years. You know why? Because there's no obscurity in what the role of the woman is and what the role of the man is. And people are meant to feel ashamed when they even attempt or think about disintegrating the union of marriage. All right? And what is marriage? Marriage is not the signing of a contract. Marriage is the unifying of a man and a woman. All right? And yes, a man can have more than one wife. Yes. All right? Let me throw that in there real quick. And I'm going to do a video. I'm going to get to that video soon enough. I keep talking about how I'm going to get to that video, but I just need time to allot to that topic, because that does need to be brought out. But once again, should a man have multiple wives? No, not necessarily. But can he? Yes, he can. All right. A man can have more than one woman. Yes, he can. All right. But some men shouldn't have any woman until they get their shit together. But that's a whole other topic. Point being is that, look, if you don't have a strong culture, neither party really knows what's coming next. That leads to insecurities, and that leads eventually to the disintegration of the relationship. And you can't have that. All right? Because when you have that type of insecurity and that lack of stability, that leads to mental problems with the children if you have the children, right? Or if you have children. They're looking to their parents to have stability. And because the parents don't have stability because of this society, the children don't have it. So this is why you see a lot of the problems that we have, especially in the so-called black community, very, very weak, borderline non-existent culture, no culture. All right, it's a trickle down of America. But because our people are in captivity, specifically the so-called black man, he suffers from the problem the worst. All right. So these women are now allowed to stipulate the rules of engagement in a relationship, and that's a major problem.
And when my parents split up, I was shocked, and I kind of thought, wow, maybe a lot of what I think about love is actually wrong.
Yeah, because you said most of us think love, marriage, baby carriage.
Yeah. There's a script.
I thought that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you thought that. For those of you who don't know, Gail was married, and then, according to her, she walked in on her husband butt naked in the bed with another woman. All right, and Gail been fucked up ever since then. Okay. Now I need to get this man's version of events. Who knows why that happened? But Gail been messed up over that since then. So that's why she's extra into this topic. I mean, as most women are into topics like this, and men really should be interested in topics like this because it gives you some insight into the female mind and the things that, number one, that women are taught to believe, and number two, that they want to force on men to believe in order to be in quote-unquote relationships with them.
Yeah, love, marriage, baby carriage.
Yes, and that will make you have a happy life.
And what should we be thinking now?
Well, what I've learned through the book, which is just, I've read a ton of love stories and thought about the role of love stories in our culture. And basically, I think the fact is most stories really narrow the way we can think about love.
Well, the problem with most so-called love stories, and this is starting from childhood, most so-called love stories in this society are crafted in a way to implement and install the female entitlement issue that they have. All right. The first program that the young girl receives in regards to entitlement are the Disney movies, right? That she's a princess and that a man is supposed to sweep her up off her feet, no matter how she conducts herself, no matter how she acts, no matter how she speaks, no matter how she treats him, that a man owes her, that he's supposed to sweep her up off her feet, and that there are certain things that a man is supposed to know and supposed to do. Meanwhile, she is absolved of all responsibilities as a woman because now she's liberated. So now she's dealing with the Disney program, the princess programming, as I call it, in concert with the feminist, feminazi, libertarian agenda, which says, I could do what I want, but you have to still be a Prince Charming. So this is what leads to a lot of trouble and problems in these so-called relationships. But why is that? It's because a lot of you men, particularly you brothers, you tolerate it. All right. That's what it always goes back to. The woman is like a child. All right. They're very easy to program. All right. The issue comes in when you men follow the programming that's installed in the woman. You're not supposed to do that. All right. You're supposed to set standards and boundaries in the relationship at all times. The woman is like a child and they have to be moderated like a child oftentimes. All right. Now, every once in a while, you'll find a relatively mature woman. But like I stated in the past, the woman really doesn't mature until around 45. That's when she starts to lose her looks. All right. The woman, for the most part, doesn't reach full maturity until mid-50s or around 60. That's around the time where they reach their full maturity mentally. For the most part, women between the ages of 15 and 45 are around the same area mentally. The only difference is that the older women have had more penises. All right. That's about it. It is what it is. Certain people might not like that. Oh, well.
Love and suggest that there's like one right way to love and that will make you happy. When the reality is that there are lots of ways that love can be a part of our lives.
I was so struck actually by the last line in your actual original article where it says that you say here, falling in love is not the same as staying in love. Mm-hmm. That like falling in love is the easy part, is what you
see how this East Indian woman is so captivated by this topic, right? See, one of the most brilliant things that any person's ever did in the last 15 years or so was Steve Harvey when he wrote that book, How to Think Like a Man. Because he understands the mind of the woman. The woman, like I said, is like a child. They're constantly curious. They're constantly inquisitive. They're always trying to find out things. Even even though most of the time they can't do anything with the information that they're trying to acquire. All right. So this woman knows this. That's why she knows all she has to do is write a book about falling in love, which is a program that has been installed in most of the women in this society. And she's going to make a lot of money. She has backing from Simon & Schuster. She goes through CBS. This book should sell very well. Steve Harvey, like I said, he had a brilliant idea. Most women want to think like men. They want to find out what men are thinking. So he makes a book about it, right? Huge bestseller, right? Has that affected or helped these women in their relationships in any way? Most likely no, because they're really not, the woman is not really made to be a prime mover. She's really supposed to respond and react to the man being a prime mover. He's supposed to dictate the rules of engagement. He's supposed to dictate the flow of the relationship because the woman by nature is mentally unstable. Period.
That's what you say.
Yeah. Well, because I think so many of our stories are really about like how two people get together, but ultimately like we don't talk that much about what it means to stay in a relationship and what that looks like.
You stay in a relationship based on humility. The reason why most of these relationships fall apart is because one or both parties is not humble, right? One or both parties are looking for self-glorification. And to be quite honest with you, most of the time it is the woman. She's been instilled and had installed a lot of entitlement issues. All right. Oftentimes the woman will state that she should not have to do certain things that traditionally women have had to do, because allegedly that's demeaning to her. But the man is supposed to do this, and that. That's an entitlement issue. The modern day woman oftentimes is heavily influenced by her quote unquote female friends, or by her mother, who oftentimes is single herself and does not want to see her daughter attain something that she was not able to attain. All right. So a lot of times these relationships, there is a conspiratorial element to these relationships that men have to watch out for. Be very, very wary of a woman who has too many friends. All right. Because in reality, most of these women don't have any friends. What they do is they have a bunch of other lonely whores in their retinue that give them bad advice to sabotage their relationship. Because what you'll find is that when a woman gets in a functional relationship with a real man, she oftentimes will distance herself from the other women in her quote unquote clique. Because it's in a woman's DNA to really want to be with a man as opposed to being around a bunch of other whores. Because that's really all a group of single women are. All right. When you see these women and they going out to the club 7, 8 deep, they taking trips to Jamaica and all this other shit. Oh, I'm heading out with my girlfriends. We're going to Cancun. We're going to Barbados. We're going to the Bahamas. No, you're not. You're going to foreign soil to get dick down, throw a bunch of skeletons in the closet, and then come back to the States and act like nothing happened. That's what you down there to do. All right. Give me a fucking break. But at the end of the day, once again, it all goes back to the man. You brothers don't set standards. You brothers don't set parameters. You don't set borders. All right. The woman has to be given these restrictions. And if she chooses to not adhere to them, no problem. Have a nice day. Goodbye. All right. You'll find that if every man adhered to these same standards, the woman would change. The reason why they don't change is because they know that they have options where they can go to an idiot, right? A man that has no knowledge, and then they could play the games on him that they couldn't play on you if you're a man who's upstanding and has standards. So this is why they end up falling into this I want to fall in love shit, because it helps them. It makes them feel like young girls again. All right. Love is for adults. Being in love is for teenagers. All right. In love is like a drug. It's like you go to the doctor. He puts you under anesthesia. Eventually you come out of it. All right. Any drug wears off, including being in love. Love lasts. In love doesn't last. It's not made to last. So just the fact that these women are sitting around having a conversation about it shows you that really they just want to stay in a dream state. All right. But it's the end result of women being allowed to believe that they can establish the rules of engagement in a relationship with men. And they cannot. Because anytime you allow a woman to do that, it will lead to chaos. All right. In general, women are agents of chaos. And certain women who might be listening to this video, you might get upset about it. If you know in your spirit that you're not an agent of chaos, you shouldn't be offended by it. All right. But if you are offended by it, it's probably because I'm talking about you. It is what it is.
And how that works. And we would really benefit from having more stories about stuff like that.
And a lot of that comes from the movies that you talk about, whether it's, you mentioned Notting Hill, you mentioned Dirty Dancing, and that's that same sort of story. That
I love those movies.
Of course, you see that? Didn't I tell you? Now, Gail, Gail is pushing 60, but she still has the maturity of a 25-year-old. She's still looking to fall in love. All right? See, when I said that the woman reaches full maturity at 60, that's pretty much on average. But you have some women who never reach maturity. Right? Gail spends most of every morning trying to flirt with Charlie Rose, really sexually harassing him in the morning. Why is that? Because she doesn't want to grow up. She wants to stay young forever. Because in this society, due to feminism, whereas a woman her age would normally have been with a man for 35 years. I know that she said that she got quote unquote cheated on. So I'll leave her situation out of it. But hypothetically speaking, a woman of her age should have been with a man for 35 years now. She shouldn't be worried about fairy tales and the maintenance of a dream state. Right? Movies like Dirty Dancing and the movies that he mentioned. Right? That's why you'll oftentimes see these movies end with a marriage. Right? Or with a guy picking a woman up. If you guys ever saw the movie Officer and a Gentleman. Right? He picks the chick up and he walks out of the warehouse, the factory at the end of the movie, and everybody's heartstrings get pulled. Right? Oh, that's so great. Or Coming to America, it ends with a wedding. Why is that? Because that's to cater to the woman. Right? That's to program the man to want to cater to the woman. But very few movies are made about marriage, which is about monotony, the understanding and the embracing of repetitiveness. All right? It's what's known as consistency. That's part of life. You have to accept the monotony of life. That's part of attaining wisdom. Right? When you attain wisdom, you understand that things are not going to be different every day. People who are looking for something different every day, they're mentally unstable. All right? They're agents of chaos. Period. Like I said in the past, the movie Coming to America, that shit was supposed to have ended in the first 5 minutes. Soon as he met that broad that said, whatever food you like, he was supposed to marry her. That shit was supposed to be over. Right? Like my man James Earl Jones said when he walked him out in the garden, he said, I thought you were having sex with your bathers. I know I do. That's what life is supposed to be about, brothers. That's what having a king's mentality is about. Right? Instead, this nigga fly all the way over to Queens to find some chick that's dealing with a dude with a jerry curl. And that's supposed to be his dream woman. All right? That movie was heavy, though, because it showed you that really was a reflection of the confusion that was going on in Eddie Murphy's life and in his spirit at that point, trying to find a quote-unquote dream woman. But he showed you a lot of the issues that women were having, even from back then, in the club scene when they were interviewing all those women. They were crazy and bugged out back then because feminism had taken root in the woman even back then, 30 years ago. All right?
I mean, they're great.
Yeah. I believed.
But it's still the falling in love part of it, not the staying in love part of it, right?
Yeah. I think so.
And so the staying in love, I mean, part of that comes from, and sustaining the relationship comes from part of the questions that came up in the article.
No, it don't. Ain't no staying in love come from them bullshit ass questions. All right? It's not about staying in love. It's about maintaining the love that you have. That's by honoring and cherishing and respecting your partner, and your partner doing the same thing. And that comes from humility. All right? There's certain things that you do for your partner because you love them. All right? Now, when you got to maintain being in love, that's some shit that's going to wear off. That's not reality. It's like, when you have a child or your mother or your father, some days you might not like them. You might go a period without even speaking to them because you're both so upset about something. But that bond is always there. All right? In love, you guys have this huge argument and you never speak again in life. And she hates the man and the man hates her. See, that's not orderly. All right? That's not love. That's infatuation. That's a big difference. All right? Infatuation can lead people to killing each other. That's not something that you should be looking for. And that's why I make these videos, because a lot of you brothers, you fall into that spirit of falling in love with the woman, and then she manipulates your mind. Next thing you know, you're entrapped, you're ensnared, caught up in a bullshit marriage contract, or you know, having a child with a woman that you did not take the time to get to know. It takes years to get to know a woman and to find out about who she really is. All right? And sometimes they show you who they are early sometimes. A lot of these bitches are crazy and deranged. All right? And they'll be trying to start arguments with you. You just start talking to the broad. She already trying to start an argument with you. Brothers, the shit ain't gonna get no better if she start an argument with you on the first text conversation. All right? Cut that bitch off like a fish. Throw her back out in the ocean and find something else. There's a lot of women out here. All right?
And this is a 20-year-old study that you sort of put in the zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
By when this essay came out. Why is it important for folks to talk about these questions?
The thing about the questions
is that they pretty much bullshit. That's the thing about these questions.
It's not like they're necessarily
Look at this shit. Psychological study to create intimacy between two strangers. In other words, that's a hustle. All right? The only way that you can create intimacy spiritually and mentally between you and a woman is to take the time to get to know her over a long period of time. Somebody could answer those questions however the fuck they want to answer them. But over the process of time, somebody's going to reveal who they really are. When you guys go through adversity, all right, increasingly personal questions. Somebody could tell you whatever. A person could hate their mother, hate their father. You ask them a question. How do you feel about your parents? Oh, I love them. They could tell you any damn thing. That show you this broad is not in her right mind.
Shortcut to creating romantic love. But they do.
When did you last sing to yourself? To someone else? You know, let a bitch ask me that shit. I'll say, you know what? The last time I sung to myself was the first time I saw you. I said, hi ho, it's off to bed we go. How do you feel about your relationship with your mother? Look, brothers, a lot of times the woman tries to play the mother angle. Why is that? Because she wants to see how you treat your mother, because she thinks that she's going to be your new mother. All right? It has to be made very plain and clear to these women that just because you have a vagina doesn't put you on equal par or equal status or equal platform with my mother. That's the reason why the scriptures tell you honor your father and mother. They're like a lord to you when you're on the earth. Certain things might happen with you and your parents. You know, you guys might have little issues, but as long as they're not telling you anything immoral or illegal, you have to follow what they say. All right? You have to follow what they say. Now, a woman wants to see if she can possibly replace your mother in the hierarchy. That's why she wants to know how you feel about your mother. All right? That's why a lot of times these broads, they try to throw the mother situation. Oh, well, you know, you talk about women like this, you must not like it. No, that has nothing to do. The dynamic that a man has with his mother is completely disparate from his view on everything else, particularly random females. All right? Why is that? Because the mother was known as the motherly instinct, which is something that the Most High put in the woman's DNA to transcend all the rest of her programming, which normally is just based in self-aggrandizement and and self-centeredness. All right, the Lord had to give the woman the motherly instinct because, for the most part, the woman just cares about her damn self. It says, share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. See, a lot of this shit, this is like weak, low-level psychological manipulation tactics. It's a way for a woman to get inside of your head quick.
Sort of statistically significant, lots of studies have shown this, that they do create intimacy and closeness really quickly. And it's a process that I think normally can take weeks or maybe even months, and it accelerates it into a couple of hours.
You see what this broad is trying to do? She's trying to accelerate every damn thing. Why is that? Right, brothers? Why is she trying to accelerate the natural process? Because a lot of these women are 35, 36, 38 years old, and they see that the sand in the hourglass is running out on their chance to be with a man. A lot of them a lot of these broads, they had a good man when they were 21, 22 years old, and they listened to the wrong person. They listened to their mother or their homegirls who said, yeah, girl, I know Tony. Tony's nice, But, you know, you got to live a little. You can't be getting that serious about Tony. Yeah, he treats you right. He buys you stuff. He takes you out. He gives you, he's pleasuring you in the bedroom. He's doing everything right. I know. But damn, girl, you got to sample some other shit. Why is that? Because your homegirl wants to sample Tony. She don't want to see you with him because it's reminding her about her own failed relationships and her low prospects at getting a man. All right. A lot of times the mother does not want to see her daughter happy in a relationship because she knows that she's never going to have one. So what happens is these women kowtow to that bullshit. They let go of a good man thinking that another one's going to come on the way. And then it doesn't happen. And next thing you know, they're 34, 35, 36 years old. They've been through 8, 9 bad relationships, quote unquote, and slept with about 25, 26 dudes. Now they're disenchanted. Now they got more baggage than Delta Airlines. And now all of a sudden men ain't this and men ain't shit and men ain't that. No. You had a good man and you blew it. So now you want to accelerate the process. You don't want to take the months to get to know somebody. Now you want to get to know them with 36 bullshit questions. No. Ain't but 4 or 5 ways for you to please a man and get him to stay. All right? Keep his stomach full, keep his scrotum empty, suck on his rod whenever he want, surprise him by sucking on his rod when he's not ready. Be nice and keep your mouth shut. I mean that pretty much is going to keep every man around. All right? Of course, communication is key, respectful communication, disagreement without too much silly argumentation. Should you let a bad man walk all over you and mistreat you? Absolutely not. You have to be respected as a human being. But most women overcomplicate things because they're listening to the wrong advice. Most women are getting advice about men from other women, which is the worst thing that you can do. The best person for a woman to get advice on men about is from other men, particularly from her father, if he's around. Hopefully he is. But that's the importance of a father. All right. Not just to his son, but to his daughter as well. He has to be there to be an ensemble for what type of a man his daughter should be after. And also he should be there to tell her about what good qualities in a man are.
But how do you do that, Mandy? Like you're at a bar, I'll take the Merlot, and how do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
Now you see what this Indian broad said? She said you're at a bar. You already struck out. All right. You only go to a bar for to get some ass. You go to a bar or club to get some ass. All right. You at the bar looking for your dream mate. That shows you that she has no culture. Right? Or she's forsaken her culture, I should say. She's East Indian, so I'm sure that she grew up in a cultured household, but she forsook that to become part of the corporate world. Now she's out there in the bar scene looking for some rod, right? Looking to find a a soulmate. Some shit that ain't never gonna happen for her.
A little awkward, no?
It's a little awkward, yeah. No, I think.
But if he doesn't get along with his mama, Rena, that's a big old red flag. Question.
You see what Gail said? If he don't get along with his mama, that's a big old red flag. Well, Gail, you old enough to replace his mama. All right? Maybe that's how you can get a man. Maybe you can bake him some cookies or something. And take off that silly ass mop wig of yours. Probably take off your wig. You look like damn Lou Gossett Jr.
Number 24. Like waving a red flag. Like, 24. Check, please. But go ahead.
Check, please. Old as you are, you better pay for the check. You better pay the check.
I think you have to be really transparent about it. Like, I think you have to say, I read about this study. Mm-hmm. It sounds interesting. Like, would you like to try it?
Yeah, you sneak it in. Sneak in your bullshit 36 questions. All right? You ask me 36 questions. I would say, look, you better ask me a 37th question. My house or yours? If I'm going to sit here through all this bullshit.
I know a couple people.
I wouldn't do that first date.
I did.
You did?
Gail, you better do it on the first date because your crazy ass, you probably not going to get a second one. You better get everything out in the first date.
You did. Yeah, but I didn't know I was going to do it. It sort of came up. In conversation.
But let's go to the top.
Bullshit. That shit didn't just come up. You wrote that shit down 3 times on 3 separate sheets of loose leaf. You studied it. You did it in the bathroom mirror before you went out. You rehearsed that shit. Stop lying. Looking like Blossom.
The title about how to fall in love with anyone. Number one, I love the title, and I want to know what exactly do you mean by that? How do you do that?
Well,
now how you gonna say you love the title, but you're gonna ask her what does she mean by it? Why would you love a title that says how to fall in love with anyone? I thought the purpose of falling in love was for it to be with somebody special. That show you that these bras are full of shit.
Well, I don't don't think you can fall in love with just like a random person on the street. But I do think the reality about love is we often think about it as this thing that happens to us, and we're just sort of passively accepting whatever love throws our way. But the truth is we have a lot more agency than that, and that we can really choose to invest ourselves in another person, and that might lead to love.
And you say how you meet somebody also determines the validity of the relationship with your friends and family. If you feel supported by friends and family with how you meet somebody, that betters the chances. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's lots of research that shows that how you meet someone influences how much support you get from the people around you.
Like if I met...
Like if you meet someone at a bar versus meeting someone at like a community center or a church or something like that.
Right, that's what I already said in regards to the East Indian woman. Look at Gail. Gail looked desperate as hell. God damn. Hey, somebody needs to set Gail up on a blind date with somebody. I mean, ain't there like an old man available for... What's up with Matthew Knowles? Do he have a woman? Why don't he go date Gail? Gail look like she needs some rod. I mean, damn. She needs some, like, just an old black man to just, help her out, have her wig flying across the room. Clear out some of them damn... Gail Coochie got more cobwebs in a haunted house.
And there's also research that shows the more your friends and family approve of your partner, the longer your relationship is likely to last.
Now, that's a major problem. See, that's what I already touched on. And, that comes from a lot of people, particularly, see, when she says friends and family approve, she's really talking about women. Because most dudes are not looking for approval about their relationship from their friends or their family. Now, every once in a while, if your homeboy say, yo, man, you better watch out for that broad, man. She been around. That's going to raise your antennas. But for the most part, most men with wisdom, they're not trying to involve too many people in their personal life anyway. Because you're supposed to have the prudence to understand how to make good decisions, how to extricate certain people from your life when you need to. There's mostly these women that's running around telling their homegirls about all their personal business, and their lonely-ass homegirl sabotage their relationship, or their mom, if their mom is a single mother. A lot of times, that's how that goes. All right? But like I said, a lot of these women are still resentful at the fact that they had a good man and they blew it. A lot of them now are on prescription antidepressants. Look at this guy in the middle. This white dude in the middle. He looked like he saw our place. That motherfucker looked like, oh man, how the hell I get here? I gotta sit in between these three bitches talking about falling in love. The fuck is this? I just want to do a line of coke. I wonder if ABC News is hiring.
Wow, I get that. And when you fall out of love, people want an explanation. They want to know. It's not enough to know that it just didn't work out. They want to know exactly what happened.
Of course they want to know what happened, because you already didn't put them all up in your business in the first place. So now when it don't work out, now they really want, what they call the tea. Oh, girl, what happened? I thought he was, he was all that in the Hot Wheel track. Now y'all not together? What happened? You already know what happened. You sabotaged their relationship. You told her that, you told her that he wasn't good enough, or that he was going to leave, or that you saw him at the club with so-and-so. Really, you want to ride him. That's what happened. And you got Gail to leave her. You got Gail to leave a man. Now she on CBS Morning News desperate.
Yeah. One thing I think is really interesting about romantic love is that we're really okay with not knowing much about how why two people got together or how they stay together.
It's so easy. Two people stay together. It's very, very simple. It's just humility. All right. That's all love is. Love is just compromise and sacrifice. That's all it is. There's no magical, mystical shit like this broad is trying to contrive. But I guess, she got to hustle her book. So, whatever. I ain't going to knock her hustle.
We want this process to be super mysterious. But when someone breaks up, we want all the details and we want to know why. And one of the things that I discovered once I started thinking about that and my parents' divorce and my own long-term relationship ending was that actually we oversimplify things. Yeah. It's really complicated.
And short.
You see, look, now she still don't get it. She still don't get it. She said after her parents broke up and then her own long-term relationship ended, she said we oversimplify things. It's really complicated. No, actually it's not. It's the opposite. People overcomplicate shit. It's really simple. All right? But it depends on your DNA. Some people just, after a while, it's like, Some people it's just in their DNA to be temporary. And some people is in their DNA to be permanent. Just like some people you can count on and some people you can't, right? Things like loyalty and things of that nature, consistency, they can't really be taught. It's just something that's in your DNA, you know? So you can't be running around wondering why this didn't work out, that didn't work out. Shit don't work out because it wasn't meant to work out. Fuck it. All right? Like I said, there's too many broads out here, man. And the main thing that the so-called black man needs to do specifically is to make sure that his shit is airtight. Right? Get everything right with the Most High. Get everything right with your understanding of the money system. All these things are a daily task to improve. All right? That's it. So many brothers get sidetracked with these women. And these women are confused, brothers. They're confused, all right? And I don't give a damn who don't like that. For you brothers that's always talking all this shit about the black woman is God, I feel sorry for you if the black woman is your God. That means that you are confused as shit.
Short-term relationships can be important and okay, too.
Yeah, what you talking about, Gail? You talking about, basically, you talking about being a jump-off. Your old fat ass. Talking about short-term relationships can be good, too, and very satisfying. Hit and quit it. I mean, shit, I gotta get mine, girl.
Yeah, that was an interesting point you made.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to lead to love, marriage, and baby.
That's a whole separate subject.
I'm not talking about one-night stands. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that.
Now you see what happened? The Caucasian man picked up on the same thing that I was picking up on. And this is something that you see now as a major phenomenon amongst older women. They can't get long-term relationships now, so basically they just a Friday and Saturday night special. All right, some dude texts them Friday, Saturday night, say, "Come over, I want to knock the cobwebs off that coochie," and Gail saunter over to his place. And now she's getting offended. She's trying to take it out on him because she exposed herself on TV. So now she's gonna make him apologize, or if not, she's gonna go to the producer and say, "Look, don't have this guy sitting next to me anymore. He offended me. He just implied that I have one night stands. I feel like I've been sexually harassed. So now he has to issue a mea culpa."
No, anywhere from 1 to whatever. But I'm just saying.
You just want somebody to whisper despacito, say despacito to her in her ear every now and then. Is that okay?
The point being is that it's a whole different subject, which we will explore not tomorrow with Mandy, but in future articles, I'm sure.
See, the white boy saw his career flash before his eyes. He said, "Oh shit, let me apologize to Gail over here before she have Oprah ruin my life."
The guy you took the test with? What's going on?
We're still together.
You're still together.
There you go.
As far as you know, y'all still together. All right. While you on the show, he's with your best friend.
Do you think you're together?
Look at this. This is they really have an open relationship. It's them two and the dog. They're in a 3-way relationship. Believe me.
Because of the test, or do you think it opened up other things?
I think
They in an interracial relationship. They're like, "Oh, you know what? We have an open relationship. Our third partner's black."
I think doing the questions just sort of opened them. It helped me trust him in a way that I didn't trust other people I had dated, and I think that was a great starting point.
Yeah, and the questions, by the way, are in the book. I love that you did that.
Page 223.
The questions are good. 36 questions.
Mandy Lynn Ketchup, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
How to Fall in Love with Anyone is on sale now.
Ain't nobody buying that bullshit. Well, you know what? Let me correct that. A lot of these desperate women gonna buy it, starting with Gail. Gail talking about she's happy the questions are in the book. Gail, look, you better not get past question number 3, because ain't nobody trying to sit there with your old ass while you ask 36 questions. All right. But anyway, brothers, that was a topic that I wanted to cover. I'll probably be revisiting it later on from various angles. But it is what it is, man. All right. Just stay vigilant. All right, man. Peace.